Hi, I'm Jeff Murr. I want to welcome you to True Texas History, where today we are going to be talking about James Butler Bonham, Texas hero. For most of you, you have heard the name, and you don't know much about the story behind the man. Well, he was born in 1807 and grew up in South Carolina. Now, that's over there near Saluda, South Carolina. And years ago, Saluda, South Carolina, had a bumper sticker that was popular in the area. And the bumper sticker said, "Texas starts here." And although you might say, gee, why is there a bumper sticker like that in South Carolina? Well, I'll tell you why. Because both William Barrett Travis and James Butler Bonham came from that area. And both of them are large figures in terms of Texas history. Now, James Butler Bonham and Travis went to school together. They were buds, and later on in life, Bonham went on to what became the University of South Carolina and was there but never graduated. Well, it seems as though in his senior year, he and some of the other members of the senior class protested some of the policies of the school and the poor food there, and because of that, they were all expelled. That didn't stop him. He went on and set himself up in a law practice and became a lawyer. And apparently he was a very passionate lawyer. At one point, he went ahead and caned a man because that man was speaking ill of one of his clients. So he was a lawyer who would definitely fight for you. I mean, how often do you see a lawyer actually get into a physical fight for their clients? James Butler Bonham did. And eventually he found himself on the staff of the local governor. And during that time, there was a nullification crisis with Jackson, and old James Butler Bonham was willing to go fisticuffs, as they would say. He was pulled out his sword, and he was willing to fight for South Carolina in that showdown between South Carolina and the United States government. Well, anyways, before all that stuff went ahead and erupted, Travis, his good old friend, wrote to him from Texas and encouraged him to come down to Texas, which he did. He joined the Mobile Grays and came down to Texas and arrived in Texas in December of 1835. So he didn't get here too long before everything blew up. He volunteered for service, and since he had had some experience in the South Carolina militia, they went ahead and made him a lieutenant. And he's actually one of the people who got along with Sam Houston. And in those days, he was considered a lieutenant of the cavalry, although he was not necessarily assigned to any particular unit. He did join Travis there at the Alamo, and excuse me. When I talk, my throat gets dry. And Travis sent him out of the Alamo to find help and also carry the famous Alamo letter, which he did. And he made it down to Goliad, met with Fannin down there, and then made his way back to the Alamo. It's one thing when you escape Mexican encirclement once. He ended up getting back there and did it twice. And he actually arrived back at the Alamo on this day, March the 3rd, 1836. Now, Bonham ended up dying in the fighting at the Alamo when the final assault took place on March the 6th. But I think that his dedication to his friend and his freedom says a lot. Even in Scripture, it talks about how seldom it is that a man lays down his life for his friends. Well, in Bonham's case, he definitely stood by his friend through thick and thin, And he's an inspiration. I mean, as a lawyer standing up for his client, in serving the state of South Carolina, to be willing to fight for South Carolina, and then in coming to Texas, being willing to fight for Texas and be there by his best friend. And he supposedly died manning one of the cannon positions there on that fateful day. But James Bonham is an inspiration to each of us. You'll find his statue there on the Alamo Cenotaph. And you will also find a statue of him there in Saluda County, South Carolina, along with William Barrett Travis. So Saluda remembers the Alamo, we remember the Alamo, and we remember James Butler Bonham. Till next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you vaya con Dios, my friend. Goodbye.